She can't even begin to guess what possessed Connor. Now Risa realizes he doesn't just make bad decisions, he makes dangerous ones. The school bus only has a few kids on it as they step on, and the driver angrily closes the door behind them, making no comment about the baby. Perhaps because it's not the only baby on the bus. Risa pushes past Lev and leads the three of them to the back. They pass another girl with her own little bundle of joy, which couldn't be any older than 6 months. The young mother curiously eyes them, and Risa tries not to make eye contact. After they're sitting in the back, a few rows away from the nearest riders, Lev looks at Risa, almost afraid to ask the obvious question. Finally, he says, why do we have a baby? Ask him, says Risa. Stone-faced, Connor looks out the window. They're looking for 2 boys and a girl. Having a baby will throw them off. Great, snaps Risa. Maybe we should all pick up a baby along the way. Connor goes visibly red. He turns toward her and holds out his hands. I'll hold it, he says, but Risa keeps it away from him. You'll make it cry. Risa is no stranger to babies. At the state home, she occasionally got to work with the infants. This one probably would have ended up at a state home too. She could tell that the woman at the door had no intention of keeping it. She looks at Connor. Still red, he intentionally avoids her gaze. The reason Connor gave was a lie. Something else drove him to run to that porch. But whatever the real reason was, Connor's keeping it to himself. The bus comes to a jarring halt and more kids get on. The girl at the front of the bus, the one with the baby, makes her way to the back and sits right in front of Risa, turning around and looking at her over the seat back. Hi, you must be new. I'm Alexis, and this is Chase. Her baby looks at Risa curiously and drools over the seat back. Alexis picks up the baby's limp hand and makes it wave like she might wave the hand of a toy doll. Say hello, Chase. Alexis seems even younger than Risa. Alexis peers around to get a look at the sleeping baby's face. A newborn! Oh, wow! That's so brave of you coming back to school so soon. She turns to Connor. Are you the father? Me? Connor looks flustered and cornered for a moment before he comes to his senses and says, Yeah, I am. That's so great that you're still seeing each other. Chaz, that's Chase's father, doesn't even go to our school anymore. He got sent to military school. His parents were so mad when they found out that I was, uploaded. He was afraid they might actually have him unwound. Can you believe it? Risa could strangle this girl if it weren't for the fact that it would leave drooling Chase motherless. So yours is a boy or a girl? The pause before answering is awkward and uncomfortable. Risa wonders whether or not there's a discreet way to check without Alexis seeing, but realizes there isn't. Girl, Risa says. At least there's a 50% chance she's right. What's her name? This time Connor pipes up. Dee Dee, he says. Her name's Dee Dee. This brings forth a little grin from Risa, in spite of how angry she is at him. Yeah, says Risa. Same as me. Family tradition. Clearly Connor has recovered at least a portion of his senses. He seems a bit more relaxed and natural, playing the role as best he can. The redness in his face has receded until it's only his ears that are red. Well, you're going to love Center North High, Alexis says. They've got a great daycare center and really take care of student mothers. Some teachers even let us nurse in class. Connor puts his hand over Risa's shoulder. Do fathers get to watch? Risa shrugs off his arm and quietly stomps on his foot. He winces, but says nothing. If he thought he was out of the doghouse, he's dead wrong. As far as she's concerned, his name is Fido. Looks like your brother is making friends, says Alexis. She looks to where Lev was sitting, but he's moved a seat ahead and is talking to a boy sitting next to him. She tries to hear what they're talking about, but can't hear anything beyond Alexis's blathering. Or is he your brother? Alexis says to Connor. No, he's mine, says Risa. Alexis grins and rolls her shoulders a bit. He's kind of cute. Risa didn't think it was possible to like Alexis any less than she already did. Apparently she was wrong. Alexis must see the look in Risa's eyes, because she says, "Well, I mean cute for a freshman." "He's 13. He skipped a grade," Risa says, burning Alexis an even meaner warning gaze that says, "Keep your claws away from my little brother." She has to remind herself that Lev really isn't her little brother. Now it's Connor's turn to stomp on her foot, and he's right to do it. Too much information. Lev's real age was more than Alexis needed to know, and besides, making an enemy is not in their best interests. "Sorry," says Risa, softening her gaze. "Long night with the baby. It's made me cranky." "Oh, believe me, I've totally been there." It looks as if the Alexis Inquisition might continue until they reach the school, but the bus comes to another sudden stop, making little Chase bump his chin on the seat back, and he begins to cry. Suddenly Alexis goes into mother mode, and the conversation ends. Risa heaves a deep sigh, and Connor says, "I really am sorry about this." Although he sounds sincere, she's not accepting any apologies. 13. Lev. This day has not gone according to plan. The plan was to get away as soon as they reached civilization. Lev could have run the moment they broke out of the woods. He could have, but he didn't. There'll be a better time, he had thought. A perfect time would present itself if he had patience and kept watchful. Pretending to be one of them, pretending to be like them, had taken every ounce of Lev's will. The only thing that kept him going was the knowledge that very soon everything would be as it should be. When the police car had turned onto the street, Lev was fully prepared to throw himself at the car and turn himself in. He would have done it if it weren't for one thing. Their pictures weren't in the paper. That bothered Lev even more than the others. His family was influential. They were not to be trifled with. He felt certain that his face would be the biggest thing on the front page. When it wasn't, he didn't know what to think. Even Risa's theory that his parents wanted her and Connor killed seemed a possibility. If he gave himself up to the police, what if they turned and fired real bullets at Risa and Connor? Would the police do that? He wanted them brought to justice, but he couldn't bear the thought of their deaths on his head, so he had let the squad car go past. And now things are worse. Now there's this baby. Stealing a storked baby? These two Unwinds are out of control. He no longer fears that they'll kill him. But that doesn't make them any less dangerous. They need to be protected from themselves. They need to be unwound. Yes, that's the best solution for these two. They're of no use to anyone in their current state, least of all themselves. It would probably be a relief for them, for now they're all broken up on the inside. Better to be broken up on the outside instead. That way their divided spirits could rest, knowing that their living flesh was spread around the world, saving lives, making other people whole, just as his own spirit would soon rest. He ponders this as he sits on the bus, trying to deny how mixed his feelings about it are. While Risa and Connor talk to a painfully perky girl and her baby, Lev moves one seat forward in the bus, putting more distance between them. A boy gets on the bus and sits down next to him, wearing headphones and singing to music that Lev can't hear. The kid slips his backpack in between them on the seat, practically wedging Lev in, and returns his full attention to his tunes. That's when Lev gets an idea. He looks behind him to see Connor and Risa still involved with the other girl and her baby. Carefully, Lev reaches into the kid's backpack and pulls out a dog-eared notebook. Written on it in big black letters is "Death by Algebra," with little skulls and crossbones. Inside are messy math equations and homework graded down for sloppiness. Lev quietly turns to a blank page. Then he reaches into the kid's pack again, pulling out a pen. All the while, the kid is so absorbed in his music, he doesn't notice. Lev begins to write. "Help. I'm being held hostage by 2 AWOL unwinds. Nod if you understand. When he's done, he tugs the boy's shoulder. It takes 2 tugs to get his attention. Yeah? Lev holds out the notebook, making sure he does it in such a way that it's not too obvious. The boy looks at him and says, "Hey, that's my notebook." Lev takes a deep breath. Connor's looking at him now. He's got to be careful. "I know it's your notebook," Lev says, trying to say as much as he can with his eyes. "I just needed 1 page." He holds the notebook a little higher for the kid to read, but the kid's not even looking at it. "No, you should have asked first." Then he rips out the page without even looking at it, crumples the paper, and to Lev's horror, hurls it toward the front of the bus. The paper wad bounces off the head of another kid, who ignores it, and it falls to the floor. The bus comes to a stop, and Lev feels his hope trampled beneath 30 pairs of scuffed shoes.